till now in this data factory perspective, what are all the things we have discussed, and so we need to get some clarity about that. Otherwise it will be in a confusion mode. So let me uh, write down the things what we discussed and what we need to prepare inside this data factory perspective. Okay, so inside this data factory generally we have understand what is the ETL, exactly what is the ETL, and what are the some differences between SSIS, because SSIS also is one of the ETL tool versus data factory. Okay, data factory. So what are the different what are the differences between the SSIS and data factory? And the second one is about uh, there are two different versions of the data factories we have, version 1 and version 2, but we are using version 2 only. So what are the different versions of the data factory? So one is about V1 and V2. Okay, what are the different versions of the data factory V1 and V2? But in interview, you have to tell I have used V2 only. Okay, I have used V2 only. And the next thing is about so coming to this data factory services, what are the different components, major components of the what are the major components of the Azure Data Factory? So can someone answer this question? What are the major components of the Azure Data Factory?
Linked services, integration runtimes.
Okay, the first one is about integration runtime. Next one,
Linked
Linked
services.
services.
hmm?
Linked services.
Linked services. Third one,
Pipelines.
Datasets.
data
Pipeline.
sets. The fourth one is activities. The fifth one is
Pipelines.
data sets, activities, and
Services.
pipelines. The next one
Triggers.
is
Triggers.
triggers.
Yes.
Now the next question is, let me give the points. Next one is about what are the different types of integration and times available. Yeah, can you tell me what are those?
Self-hosted and
Self-host,
Azure.
auto-resolve, SSIS.
One is self-hosted.
Auto-resolve or Azure integration
The second
runtime.
one is auto
Resolve
resolve
or Azure
or
integration runtime.
Azure IR. Third one,
SSIS. SSIS.
Azure.
SSIS IR. So what purpose we are using self-hosted IR?
For the
Now
on-premises.
to
On
Virtual machines are on-premises.
on-premises.
Connecting to
On-premises.
on-premises or private networks. Okay, now my question here, I have a data source in on-premises system. Which one you are using? Self-hosted, correct?
Yes.
For example, my data is in a virtual machine. My data source SQL server is in a virtual machine. Which integration runtime you are going to use?
Self-hosted because it's in a on our network.
Virtual machine is also a cloud environment, right?
No, we use self-hosted.
So if it is a virtual machine also, we have to use the self-hosted only, because virtual machines are working in a different network. There is some private VN virtual networks will be created. So because of that reason, you have to use self-hosted only, even if it is a hosted in the virtual machine. Okay, this is for cloud based. What is the difference between the auto resolve and Azure IR?
Auto Resolve and Azure IR.
Yeah, auto resolve or Azure. What is the difference between these two? Auto resolve is
When the
default
data is
one.
within cloud, okay, yeah,
Auto resolve is a default one. You don't need to create this one. Correct?
yes,
Auto resolve is a default one. You don't need to create it.
yes,
But Azure IR is created by a developer. You can customize. You can able to customize this integration runtime. Customization means you can able to increase the capacity. You can able to increase the integration runtime data integration units. Okay, but auto resolve you cannot customize this one. So what is a integration runtime? First tell me, why we need a integration
To
runtime
allocate
generally?
the resources and
Yes, integration runtime providing the compute infrastructure, providing compute infrastructure. Okay? Integration runtime is providing the compute infrastructure. Why we need this compute infrastructure? To execute the pipeline activities, to execute the pipeline activities and connecting to the different networks using linked services. Can we able to create the linked services without having this integration runtimes? No. Okay. What about this SSI ISIR SQL Server integration runtime? Sorry, SSIS SQL Server SSIS integration runtime. So when we have a SSIS projects in on-premises, when we have a SSIS projects in on-premises, if you want to load into the, sorry, if you want to shift into cloud and scheduling inside the data factory, we have to use this integration runtime. So SSIS IR is for lifting and shifting of your SSIS packages into the cloud environment. Got it? Okay. The next one is about what is a linked service and what is a linked service? Linked services are,
it is a connection between the
yeah, linked
data
services are
factory.
storing of the connection information, connection information and establishing a linked services are storing of the connection information and establishing a connection to data sources with the help of integration runtimes. With the help of the integration runtimes, you can able to create this IRs over here. Clear? Okay. The next one is about what is a linked services. Linked services are storing of the connection information and establishing a connection to the data sources supported by Data Factory with the help of integration runtimes. What is a data set? Data sets are prepared based on the activity. Based on the activity, data sets are prepared. Okay, data sets are prepared based on the activity. Data sets are prepared based on the activity. Data sets are the preparation of the data. Preparation of the data with the help of linked services, because without providing the linked services, data sets cannot be connecting to your data source and fetching the data. Data sets are the preparation of the data with the help of the linked services based on the activity. So data set preparation is a different based on the activity type. For example, if you are using a get metadata activity, the data set preparation is different. And if it is a copy data activity, the data set preparation is a different. Correct? The next one is what are the activities used in what are the activities used in data factory in your project? Can you please name some of the activities what we have used?
Copy data
Copy
activity.
data.
Copy data activity, get metadata activity,
Conditional split.
code procedure activity, copy data activity, stored procedure activity, get metadata activity. Next,
Conditional split.
no, it's not an activity. Web
Okay, it's
activity,
data flow task then. Data flow task.
Lookup
for each loop activity,
lookup activity,
yeah, lookup activity, if condition activity, set variable activity. Set variable activity, if you want to assign any value to a variable, for example, what is the date today? I want to create one variable. Variable name is uh, current time. So inside this variable, I want to assign one value, that is today. So the function we have is now. So this function will assign and store that value into a variable. That variable you can use throughout your data factory pipeline. So let me show you that one as well. Set variable activity, and we have one more activity needs to be discussed, like a switch activity. So what is the use of this switch activity? If condition activity is going to be performed only yes or no, so only two conditions it can be performed. Switch activity will check multiple conditions, okay, until it is finding the expression is satisfying. Until the expression is satisfying, then it is going to be verifying the condition. Then after data flows, any activities we missed? Of course, the wait activity we have, and yeah. So these are the activities we discussed. Apart from this, the next question they will ask, uh, did you use the mapping data flows? The data flow activity we have, right? Yes, we have used. And what are the transformations available inside this? What are the transformations available? Okay, the transformations are, one is about
Derived column,
yeah, derived column transformation.
conditional split,
Next, conditional split,
join,
join transformation,
lookup,
lookup transformation,
select,
select transformation,
filter,
Filter.
filter,
Filter.
delta,
filter,
Filter, sir.
filter,
filter transformation,
sort, sort,
sort.
New
union,
branch.
What is it is?
New
union,
Union, yeah, it's going to be union of,
window,
New branch.
yeah, Windows transformation,
aggregate, alter row,
Ram, do we discuss all these transformations? I might have missed.
yes, we did.
and new branch.
Is it what taken on the weekend class?
Yeah, the next one, hmm?
Surrogate.
Which data?
Pivot.
Surrogate. Surrogate.
Can you ping me that name? Derived column, join, lookup, select, filter, sort, union, Windows, aggregate, alter row, new branch, surrogate key. Anything else? Okay, let me come over here. Copy data activity. So what purpose we are using this one? Simply copying the data from anywhere. Copying the data from source to destination. Okay, simply copying the data from source to the destination. What is this get metadata activity we are using for? Get metadata activity is to get the metadata information like file names, in a folder, and file exists or not, size of the file. So these kind of things, if you want to perform, you can able to use this one. Stored procedure activity to execute any SQL commands in a stored procedure. You can call a stored procedure. You can call a procedure. Web activity to send the email notifications with the help of logic gaps. For each loop activity, to loop any activities multiple times based on the input. Lookup activity to extract data from any data source and return that output as a input to other activity. If condition activity based on the condition expression true or false, it can be executed. To assign any value to a variable, we can use that variable activity. Multiple conditional based execution of activities. Data flow is the to perform ETL. ETL. ETL stands for to perform extraction and transformation, loading the data from source to destination. Wait activity to stop the execution of pipeline sometime. Okay, now coming to the derived column transformation. Under this mapping data flows, we have a source and we have a sink. So in between we have a source and we have a sink over here. We have a source and sink. In between we can apply the transformations. So derived column transformation is for to derive new columns based on the expressions. Conditional split is loading the data by splitting based on the condition. Performing joins based on the common column like inner, left, right, full, cross, these kind of joins. Lookup is comparing the two data sources based on the common column, find matched and unmatched records. Select transformation is for filtering of the columns, not the data. We are just filtering only selected columns. Only these columns I need. Rest of columns I don't want. Okay, nothing but a restricting the incoming columns. Filter transformation is for filtering of the data or rows, not the columns. Sorting the data based on a column in ascending and descending order. Union transformation. This is for combining or merging. Sorry, not the merging, appending of the two data sources. Window transformation to perform row number, rank, dense rank, to perform the row number, rank, dense rank expressions. Aggregate to group data and performing the aggregations like sum, min, max, these kind of things. Alter row transformation is for um, identifying which records needs to insert and needs to update. Okay, performing upsert operations. New branch means incoming data can be duplicated into multiple destinations. Surrogate key is to generate a continuous key value. Source is for connecting to any kind of data sources supported by Data Factory. Sync is about loading the data into the destination supported by Data Factory. Okay, so now I have one question. The question is, let's for example, I have a data in my local computer, that is a SQL Server database. This is a cloud computing. Inside, what I'm going to do, I have a SQL database. I want to load the data from this on-premises SQL Server to cloud SQL Server. In between, I want to apply some transformation techniques. Okay, I want to extract, transform, loading the data. So by using a data factory. So which activity you will use to perform this one? Can someone tell which activity you will use?
Copy.
Copy data.
But
Copy data
before that,
activity cannot perform the transformations, right? I want to apply some transformations. How can you apply the transformations in the copy data activity. Copy data activity is simply copying the data, that's all. Whatever the data you have in your source, it is simply copying the data, that's all.
Before that, we need to bring the data to a blob, right? From there only we can load to SQL, right?
Using data flow.
Yes. Can we use the data flow over here? Data flow activity?
No.
Why?
So because SQL Server on-premises will not connect with self-hosted IRs. So no, both needs to be in Azure.
Exactly. So data flow will not connect to the on-premises networks. So what you need to do is, first you need to bring your data into some staging area by using a copy data activity. Nothing but a blob storage. Bring your data into first data lake, blob storage. Blob storage you can use using copy data activity, because self-hosted integration runtime we cannot use in the data flows. First, you need to bring the data from on-premises to copy data activity. This is SQL Server. You can copy this data into blob storage, and from there you can use the data flows to perform the ETL transformations. Because data flow will not connect directly to your on-premises. Data flows are supporting only connecting to the cloud environments only. So first you need to bring the data from on-premises to the cloud environment by using a copy data activity, then only you can use data flows. Got it? So the next question is, can we connect data flows into on-premises networks? No, because self-hosted IR will not support. So needs to use copy data activity, then copy the data and then load into blob storage, blob or data lake, then use the data flows to perform ETL over here. Clear? Any questions here? Right. The next question is about inside pipeline, inside a pipeline, can I use a for each loop activity inside a for each loop activity, one more for each, nothing but a nested for each can I use? Let me goes to data factories. So inside this for each loop activity, go inside this for each. Can I use one more for each here? No. Nested for each activity not supported. You cannot have a for each activity inside the scope of the for each activity. Please consider an execute pipeline activity. What is this execute pipeline activity? So you have a pipeline 1, right? This is pipeline 1. Let me create one more pipeline. This is pipeline 2. Okay? This is pipeline 2. So how to call another pipeline in this pipeline? I want to execute pipeline 1 from here. We have an activity execute pipeline activity. So if you are specifying which pipeline you want to execute, that is pipeline 1. That means this execute pipeline activity will call another pipeline. Currently we are in pipeline 2. So if you want to call the pipeline 1, it will call. So now what you can do, now we can take a for each loop activity. Inside this for each loop activity, you can take this. Here you can take execute pipeline activity. So in the same pipeline, you cannot use nested for each loop. Inside one for each loop, another for each loop if you want to use, call from another pipeline. And use that, how to call a pipeline? By using execute pipeline activity. That you can keep inside this for each loop activity. Clear? The solution for this one is you can't use nested for each loop. So alternative solution is call a pipeline using execute pipeline activity and use another for each. Can I use inside if condition activity another if condition activity? Inside, see, you cannot use inside one if condition another if condition. That means nested if condition is not supported. You cannot have if condition activity inside the scope of if condition activity. Again, same concept. Take another pipeline. Take this if condition. Inside you can take execute pipeline activity. Sorry. Let me go true side. Another pipeline I will call that contains the execute pipeline activity. Okay. So this is how we can able to call for each inside another for each if condition inside another. Can we use nested if condition in same pipeline? Definitely you can't. So alternative solution, use execute pipeline activity inside another one, another pipeline. Next question. The scenarios we can write down. First scenario is how to copy data from on-premises to cloud blob storage. So on-premises I have a SQL server. How to copy blob to blob. How to copy multiple files into Azure SQL table. Single table. How to implement incremental loading. How to copy a data when a file exists, else send email notification. How to send email notifications in Data Factory. How to implement a CD1 using mapping data flows. What is your Data Factory flow? Data Factory pipeline flow. What do you mean by directory flow? Data Factory pipeline flow. That means, so what is your source? What is your destination? So my source is a on-premises SQL server. I'm going to move this data into the cloud blob storage like a CSV files. From there, by using a data flows, we are loading into the Azure SQL database. Then Power BI is going to connect into this one and designing of the reports and dashboards. So this is my flow. So this is called staging area, and this is called reporting layer, Power BI. You can write down. So we are taking the data from source on premises SQL server. We are taking the data from on premises SQL server and copying into staging area of blob or data lake like a CSV files. All the tables in your SQL server will be loaded into like a CSV files. Then by using mapping data flows, we are performing the CD1 mechanism like insert and update and the target Azure SQL DB. Then Power BI team designing of the reports and dashboards. How to schedule the pipelines. So daily, how are you going to deploy your pipelines? I mean, scheduling your pipelines by using triggers. So there are three different kind of triggers: normal scheduling trigger, event based trigger, tumbling window trigger. Scheduling is like daily or weekly or monthly, how you want to execute on a specific time basis, you can use this one. Event based trigger means when a file placed or a file deleted, automatically trigger needs to be executed your pipeline. Tumbling window trigger means this is a bit tricky. For example, I want to execute, let's take example of I have a data in my source SQL table, SQL database. Table contains sales data from last 1 year. Last 1 year sales I have. In this last 1 year sales, whatever I have, I need month by month. Month by month sales I need. Month by month means like let's take from last year January onwards. Jan 1st, 2023. Jan 1st, 2023 to 31st Jan 2023. Again February 1st, 2023, 28th Jan, 28th February 2023. So this is how continuously month by month till this month I'm expecting. So your trigger needs to be executed in a historical manner. It needs to start. I will give a value, start value, January 01st 23 onwards. I will keep interval time as a 1 month. Okay. So trigger start time is this one, and interval I will give every monthly needs to be executed. So then it will start from this date, and 1 month time end date it will take. So in between these two dates, this date and this date, it will generate start date and end date. Start date is January 1st 2023. 1 month means 31st January 2023. So these two values you can pass as a input to your copy data activity, and then your pipeline will execute each month wise and it will generate the data. We'll discuss this one, no problem. This is called scheduled three different kind of triggers. So you can say when historical manner to execute pipeline, we can use this one. Finally, deployment of the pipelines. So we are using Azure Git repo and deploying pipelines using we're using Azure Git repository and deploying the pipelines using CI/CD release pipelines. Okay, so these are all the things you need to prepare as a part of this data factory. Let me ping over here. Just pinging in the Chat also. You can take it from chat as well. If possible, you can copy from here. Otherwise, I will share this notepad as well. Okay, this is the flow of the project. On-premise to staging, staging to target. So your source is on-premise SQL, target is Azure SQL DB, and you can use Power BI as a reporting tool over here. Okay, so we can connect tomorrow to discuss about the further topics. Please prepare all these things by watching the previous videos. Please copy that one, or else I will share the notepad, no issues.